My next race is the Houston Marathon. It's coming up on this Sunday, so this video I'm going to go over a little bit of the details of what I've been doing for training and what I have planned for this week, which is race week. Okay, so getting into it, my last race was CIM, California International Marathon. It was the first week of December, so that is 6 weeks between CIM and the Houston Marathon. The first week after CIM, I did 65 miles. It was all easy running except for Saturday. I had a local 10K race. I ran it at about a tempo effort and then added some additional mileage in to get up to 15 miles. But that was really the only hard running I did the first week after CIM. Then the next week I ran 71 miles with a interval session on Tuesday, tempo run on Thursday, and then a 20-mile long run on Saturday, which I did on the treadmill. The third week after CIM, I did 74 miles. Again, I did an interval run on Tuesday, I did a tempo run on Thursday, and I did a 21-mile long run on Saturday. This time it was outdoors. Very similar week to the prior week, the second week after CIM. And then fourth week after my last race, I did 70 miles in total. For this week, I did, again, 2 workouts during the week. I did an interval session on Tuesday on the treadmill, and then on Thursday, I did a 5K tempo run outdoors. And on Saturday, I did a long run. I did a video about this long run. It was 16 reps of 3 minutes on and 2 minutes float. That ended up being just under 19 miles total. And then last week, I did 64 miles total. So last week, I only did 1 workout. It ended up being on Wednesday. It was 10 reps of 3 minutes on and then 1 minute float. I did do a couple of doubles last week where I ran a few miles in the morning and then a few miles in the evening. On Tuesday, I ended up doing 4 miles in the morning. I believe that one was on the treadmill, and then 4 miles in the afternoon, which was outdoors. Really the only reason I did that was because I forgot to set my alarm and slept in or overslept on Tuesday, so that's all the time I had before work. So I snuck in a few miles on the treadmill, and then after work I ran a few more miles. And then on Friday, ended up doing kind of a similar situation where I did 5 miles in the morning and then just about 5K in the afternoon. Again, it was treadmill in the morning and then outdoors, outside in the afternoon. This one, I went out planning to do an outdoor run. Ended up finding that it was very slippery. It was extremely icy even just on my driveway. So I went back in, I changed clothes, and I got on the treadmill and I did 5 miles before work. And then once it was light out in the afternoon, a lot easier to run even when it's slippery out when it's light out, so I did a few more miles in the afternoon. Normally I don't really prefer to do double runs, but if it ends up being what I need to do just to fit it in with my time, that's what I end up doing. Then on Saturday I did an abbreviated long run, so this one was 13 miles with a little bit of a push at the end. Progressive pace. I found that this is usually about the right distance that I like to do 1 week before a marathon. So I've gotten into a pretty consistent routine of pretty much running my normal mileage up until 2 weeks before, and the only thing that I cut back on is the long run. So instead of going 18 to 20 plus miles on Saturday, I'll only do 13 miles, and I'll usually just do a little bit of a push near the end to get up towards marathon pace for the last mile or so. I end up finding that this really helps start that taper, helps get me recovered. That did end up being 64 miles last week, which is down by about around 10% down from where my average was at my peak mileage, maybe a little bit more than that. Okay, so then getting into this week. This week I will do much more of a taper. Normally I will end up with somewhere in the mid-50s for mileage, including the marathon on race week, so that puts me at pretty low mileage except for Sunday on race day. What I've kind of gotten to is doing essentially like 8 miles on Monday, 7 Tuesday, 6, 5, 4 and then like a 3-mile shakeout on a Saturday. I don't necessarily stick to that perfectly, but that's about what I'll end up doing. Sometimes I end up doing the similar Tuesday and Thursday workouts like I normally do, so intervals on Tuesday and some kind of tempo run on Thursday, but I will normally make them much less volume than I typically would do. I would normally keep the intensity about the same, so something at a faster pace, like a 3-minute rep, closer to 5K pace on a Tuesday, but instead of doing maybe 8 or 10 reps, I would maybe only do 4, 5, or 6 reps. And then on Thursday, if I'm doing a tempo type effort, I would normally cut it down from 10K or 6 miles of effort to something more like only 3 miles or 5K of effort. And I do like to run that one a little bit faster than marathon pace. So tomorrow it doesn't actually look like the roads are going to be in very good shape just due to the snow that we've had today. So I think I'll probably actually shift that around a little bit this week. Do another easy day tomorrow on Tuesday, and then Wednesday I'll try to get a workout in. If the roads are still bad, I'll end up doing it on treadmill, which isn't necessarily my preference going into race day, but if the footing isn't good, there's really no benefit to trying to do it out in the snow, because I won't be able to hit the same paces, and then potentially also could slip and fall and get injured, and I don't want to do that. So that likely is going to be the plan, is a workout on Wednesday. Probably will be something more in the tempo range, maybe a steady effort around 5K, maybe a little bit more. Just try to get the legs moving. I think I like to keep reminding myself that really can't add a lot of fitness or any fitness in the week before race day, so the workouts aren't too critical. Really not a lot of benefit to doing something extremely long or extremely hard. I do like to try to keep it similar to what I normally do, but hopefully just get a little bit of a tune-up here before the last couple days before the race. I do think there's maybe two different perspectives on race week workouts. Some people like to focus on marathon pace and getting really dialed in on that. I normally like to take my last workout, whether it's on Wednesday or on a Thursday, and try to do something a little bit faster than marathon pace. So hopefully closer to threshold pace, just so I can feel that level of effort and know that that is really not my marathon pace. Hopefully try to make marathon pace maybe feel a little bit easier, so I get that in my mind. And then once I start actually at my true marathon pace on race day, hopefully it feels a lot easier at that point and more sustainable for longer. What I like to try to do is to try to make sure that my expected effort compared to the actual effort I feel on race day is as close as possible to being the same, or actually that the race day effort will feel easier, is typically what I'll try to ingrain into my mind with some of these workouts here the last week. The last thing I want to do is get into race day, have that race day effort feel too hard, too fast. I think that's just a sure sign that it's not the right pace. So really trying to get myself dialed in on what that pace should be, and then hopefully make it feel as easy as possible going into race week. So beyond that, then I would expect Thursday would be an easy day. Friday would also be an easy day. I have my flight out is in the middle of the day on Friday, so I would likely do probably just a half an hour run Friday morning at the time that I normally run at. If I have travel early in the morning, I will often just skip the Friday run. I don't feel like that's a detriment to fitness really, and it fits a lot better with the schedule than trying to squeeze something in super early in the morning or in a odd time, say when I landed, or late at night when I typically am not used to running. And then Saturday when I'm in Houston, I will probably try to do some kind of quick shakeout run in the morning before I head to the expo. That will be hopefully the main part of what I'm doing on a Saturday before the race, is getting that shakeout run done, getting the packet pickup, getting my bib, and then probably keeping it pretty low key after that, eating lunch, eating dinner, probably trying to stay off my feet as much as possible. All of the meals in the last few days before the race, trying to make sure I get enough carbs and mainly just get enough calories in. And then also try to get enough sleep in the last few days before the race especially. Well, that's one thing I try to keep in mind with the travel schedule, is that ideally I would not be traveling during any time when I'm normally sleeping. So that includes really early flights or flights where I would get in late and end up staying up later than I normally would. Hopefully trying to get that at least 7 to 8 hours at the very minimum, hopefully longer. Sometimes I end up getting more sleep on the day before the race, like the Saturday before, because I'll just sleep in a bit longer than normal. I'm pretty used to getting up at 5 a.m. So if I end up sleeping into, say, 6 or 7 or 8, that can be quite a few more hours, even if I go to bed at a similar time. And then trying to get to bed early on race day or the night before race day, because almost all races are pretty early starts. One nice thing with Houston is that if you stay in downtown, normally you can just walk right out of the hotel and walk straight to the corrals. So that does make it so that you can sleep in a little bit longer compared to, say, like a point-to-point race where you have to load on a bus an hour or 2 hours, but well before the actual start. So that'd be my plan going into race day this week. I think it'll just be easy running with decreasing mileage each day, and then one more workout on Wednesday, and then traveling on Friday. I guess that's it for this video. Hopefully that was useful, and thank you for watching.